Hello, welcome to another video about the challenges and solutions for the digital transformation of industrial companies. I have this little video series running about the digitalization transformation checklist that we've created based on the learnings from the last years. Last week, I interrupted that shortly because I posted a video about the Siemens Data Analytics and Artificial Intelligence conference. Very insightful conference about generative AI mainly, and about other things like, of course, data analytics. I tried to make it as short as possible. I still ended up with 7 minutes. I hope you find it still insightful. Today, I want to talk about use cases within our digitalization transformation checklist. So let's jump to the checklist. And while we talked last time about strategy, company strategy, and strategy for the digitalization project and how they need to align, this time we want to talk about the use case. Use cases are kind of the central topic which a digitalization transformation project should evolve. There are projects out there where this should not be too much in focus, because then use cases can derail some thoughts. However, that's too specific, so let's focus on the regular case that use cases are the way to go forward. And how we come up with use cases, of course, there are different possibilities to do so, but the main topic would be to do the business process modeling, meaning that you first document your processes, how they are at the moment, where are the gaps, how they could be in the future. With those basic analytics and analysis done, then you can derive those use cases. And you should not look for the one killer use case, because normally in a digitalization transformation project, that is not available. You should rather build up a use case repository. More use cases, the better, in your first long list, basically. And you should also think of use cases that are planned then, going forward detailing them out, but also allow for the explorative finding and discovery of use cases later on. So also to think about enablement technology. But then you have your use case repository, and you should prioritize those use cases, their initial analysis based on then the company strategy. Having then prioritized those use cases, you should start detailing them out, at least the ones which are of higher priority, and you basically cannot detail them out enough. So really to describe them, for example, about what's the problem it is addressed, what's the solution, what's the value it can provide, impacted user groups, the preconditions, post-conditions. I put some of the structures there where how you should look at use cases. For example, that the people, process, technology kind of view should apply. But also from the type of use cases, there are huge differences. And sometimes you use the technology which is tailored, for example, to production equipment, but in fact, they have different use cases that also want to look at the product that is produced. For example, the work order that is then pushed through the production, or then the process. It's the actual setting for beans for a certain production. And these are different ways and different data sources that you need to consider for such use cases. When you talk about the implementation, also this cannot be planned basically too much in detail. And many companies fail planning enough upfront, and so often they get into problems. For example, what is the data that is required to implement such a use case? Flow of events, but also the post conditions. What are the accepted for use case? At the end, all of this documentation helps also to scale, because it's very easy to have a first pilot project. The scaling is the most difficult part, and with all these different really helps to do so. Give you one special tip at the end. You should also always look at the impact on stakeholders. So to discuss this, I think, is key. Just one example of a project that failed, where we've heard about it afterwards, that, digitalization is a lot about transparency. Plant managers within that company did not want to have the transparency. They did not want to share information across plants, and also not that the central department could look into their production environment. So that reasoning from their side kind of delayed the project, which I really understood, because I mean, missing resources, then different information that always been enough and correct and else. So all of these little things that suddenly go wrong. And at the end of the project, we found out that the actual reason is because the plant managers did not want to do that. So it's a lot about what kind of stakeholders impacted in which way, and then to talk about it and address it with change management. And this is what we are going to talk about in the next video. In principle, what's the impact on capabilities as well, and the change management for different user groups within a digitalization transformation project. So I hope you enjoyed this video and you join me for the next one. Have a great day.